is Techeles. We have learned in the past that the chilazon itself is daim aliyam. Most Mefarshim say it means it's blue. The dam chilazon, so Machlekes Rambam said it's shachar k'joy. Rashi seems to say that it might be blue also. What about the techeles itself, the color techeles in the baguette when it's on the tzitzis? What color is that? So the Gemara says, Tanya Rab Meir Omer, Manishtana techeles mikol tzivainim. Why is techeles different than all other colors that was chosen to be used in the tzitzis? Mipnei techeles doim liyam, v'yam doim l'rakia, u'rakia doim l'kisei hakoved. So Pashtus, this is the way we're taught when we're growing up. It's the skabel in Klal Yisrael. It's blue. V'chein ha'medavar. That's the Pashtus. That's the way our Messiah is. But it's very, very not Pashut. And it seems to be big machlekes in the Rishonim exactly what color it was, let alone what shade it was. Rashi, at the beginning of Truma, and also in Parashat Shlach by Parashat Tzitzis, and also in the Mishnah in Brachos, the Mishnah in Brachos says, what's the earliest time in the day that a person could start saying Krishma? So Rabbi Eliezer's shita is Mishiyakir ben Techeles Likarsi. When a person could make, it's light enough that you could see two dark colors, two different colors, and see the difference between them. So as soon as you could discern those two colors, that's already light enough that you could say Krishma. Rashi says, what's Techeles? Techeles is Yorek. Also, again, Yorek. So many Mefarshim say that the word Yorek, in Rashi at least, when Rashi says Yorek, it's not necessarily the Yorek that we mean today. Today, Yorek in Hebrew, I guess, is green. But Yorek could also have blue in it, and Rashi meant blue, which is possible. Many say like that, but it's not mistaber. And the reason being is that Rashi, the Gemara in Brachos says in Daf Nun Zayin, that if a person sees in his dream any color, maybe he sees himself or he sees a color in his dream, it's a good siman, except for this color of Techeles. Techeles is not a good siman to see in a dream. Rashi says, why is Techeles not a good siman? So Rashi says, Yoreku. First he says again that Techeles is Yorek. Umisha panav Yerukim chaylu. Somebody who has a jaundice, like a greenish color to his face, it's not a healthy color. Now, no one usually has blue in their face, usually, I think, unless it's... But usually when somebody's sick, it's like a greenish color. So Rashi seems to say that Yorik, that Techeles is taka green. So it could be. I mean, it's not necessarily, but that's what it sounds like from Rashi. Now, where would Rashi get his makar for such a thing? Let's say he had a Messiah like that. So Taisus in Sukkah brings down a Yerushalmi that has a different nusach in Rab Meir. And he says that Techeles is doime liyam, yam is doime la'asavim, asavim doime l'rakia, rakia doime l'kisei hakoved. So he substitutes yam with asavim. Asavim are grass. Grass is green. There's no blue grass. So if it's green, so Rashi, if that's the makar for Rashi's shita, so in other words, Rashi didn't want to have that it's a machlokes between the Gemara in Bavli and the Yerushalmi, and therefore he learned that when the Bavli says doime liyam, you see many times the yam, the complexion of the yam in many places could be green. Now rakia also, I guess you have to say sometimes in some places maybe it's a little different shade, and Rashi learned that it was green, but like I said, the way we have this is not the skabel pashas, it's blue. The Rambam sheet is that Techeles amura b'Torah b'chol mokaim hitzemra tzavua kepasuk shebekachel v'zed musa rakia. It's the way you look at the sky. Haniris la'ein hashemesh, when the sun is up, v'tiarei shel rakia. In the midday sun, you look up and you see it. Basically, what this is over here, it's going to be blue, lightish blue, and that's the way the Rambam's sheet is. Now the Radziner, he had a darker color, a little bit darker color of Techeles, and he goes through Barichas and he says that he found out that in the Metzias there's an array of 170 colors, from I guess white till black. There's different whole spectrum of colors, And he says that from number 90 until 150 is kosher for techeles. And then he says, but that's maybe b'di'evet. He says l'chatchila from 110 to 130. Now I'm not sure what those colors are, but I'm not sure even if this is the same system that they use today with colors. But there are numbers to colors today. And he says it could be anything. It's not necessarily any ways he's learning about it's blue, but the shade of the blue he seems to say is not necessarily makiv. And as a matter of fact, the Radziner, when he went to the Belzer Rebbe, the second Belzer Rebbe, Reb Shua, Schusay Yogan Aleinu, so it says that he tried to convince him to put on the techeles, showed it to him. He said, come here, I want to show you something. And he takes him to the window and he says, points up to the sky and he says, my father told me that that's the color of techeles. This doesn't match it. From the murex itself, you could make any shade of blue. It's just the way how to make it. You can make many shades of blue. As the Ptil, which is the organization that started it, and they're the ones that produce the techeles, that the techeles that they sell today, the murex techeles are the ones that produce it. They chose a very light color blue for some reason. I'm guessing it might have something to do with the Israeli flag. Maybe warms them up a little bit. I'm not sure. I saw that brought down like that. There's a Professor Koren who says that to the best of his knowledge, the chemicals that they had in the times of Chazal, he doesn't seem to believe that they were able to produce the light blue that they have today. It would have been much darker. So he's not sure about the whole color of the murex. Of the ones that they produce today. There's another doctor, another Professor Hoffman, that he says no. He did it with the chemicals that they had known in the times of Chazal, and he was able to produce the light blue that they come out with today. And they asked him, how did he do it? And he said, what you do is a very simple thing. You take the wool and you dip it in once. So what you do is you draw most of the red color out of it, and then when you dip in a second dip, he's dipping a second piece of wool into the dye again. Now it will be a much lighter color. Except that lahalacha, there's a problem with that's a puzzle. That's puzzle. It's tzitzis. The Gemara says the menachos to do it the second time. The Gemara says it's puzzle for tzitzis. So they obviously didn't do it to make the tzitzis that way. So it's a way that maybe they were able to get that color then, but it wouldn't have been kosher for tzitzis. Rashi in the end of Shlach brings down even another sheet. He brings down from Rav Moshe Darshan. Rav Moshe Darshan says, what does the word techeles mean? The word techeles, he says, means kole. Techelet, which is the targum of shakel, of death. And he says, since makas b'chayris was a mak of death, and umakosim hoisa b'layla, it was at night. He says, and the techeles also, he connects to this. The word techeles comes from the word tichle, death, which is a dark type of a color. And he says it's doimel l'rukia hamashchir le'eis erev. He says that it's a much, much darker color, almost like the darkening sky by the Eis Erev, which is maybe darker blue, which maybe would fit in more with the Radziner. So it's hard to know. Like we said, the Messiah that we have basically is, the way we're brought up, is that it's a lighterish type of blue. Radziner had a darker type of blue. Rashi seems to say that it's green, and Rashi himself brings down Rav Moshe Darshan that says that it was a much darker blue.